For starters, I am Matt Bell, professional disc golfer. Prior to that, I was a certified beach bum, surfed every day. Grew up in Northern California with the snow in the Sierras, riding and, skiing, snowboarding, and all that fun stuff, and just enjoying the outdoors, camping and fishing and recreating. Yeah, growing up, I always wanted to do something physical, outdoors, sports related. I always thought it would be surfing, and that's what I did for many years until disc golf took over my life, and it's pretty much perfect for me. It's something that I love to do, and it gets me outside and active, and I'm looking forward to doing it for many more years. I was managing a pizza restaurant in Santa Cruz, and a new employee and I were playing catch with a Frisbee on our downtime inside the restaurant because we have a bunch of surfboards hanging down, and I was carving them through the surfboards back to him and everything, and he was pretty much blown away that I could do that, and he asked if I'd ever played disc golf, and I'd never even heard of disc golf before. So the next day he took me up to the local course there in Santa Cruz and gave me a couple discs, and we played around, and I've pretty much been playing every day since then. I did. I grew up on the snow doing skiing and cross-country skiing and snowboarding, but I always wanted to surf, so that was something I did. After high school, I moved to Santa Cruz and surfed pretty much every day for about 6 years, and got to be a fairly well-accomplished surfer before disc golf took over. I wouldn't say it's stressful for me. I learned at a young age that I didn't want to have stress be a part of my life, so that's something I don't really do very often, is stress about anything. And like I said, if I hadn't developed a non-monetary mindset early on, I might have had some stressful situations, but thankfully I had good friends that I traveled with, and we took care of each other and kept each other's spirits up. I think if I had gone at it by myself, it might have been hard at times, and might have had to even do other things to supplement my income, but thankfully, just played well at the right times to where I didn't have to worry about that. And Greg Barsby's actually who took me under his wing initially. He'd already been touring for about 12 years at that point. He was a well-established professional on the touring scene, and when he came home and found out I was winning all these tournaments, he decided to take it upon himself to take me on the road with him to see what I really had. So I can't thank him enough for doing that. Yeah, the $25,000 ace that I hit, that was a good one. That was a pretty special one. Pretty much as soon as I heard that was an opportunity we were gonna have to make a throw for a chance at that, I planned on hitting it, like I'm sure a lot of people did, and pretty much organized my days leading up to that moment, concentrating on hitting that shot and manifesting it. Talking to my girlfriend about it, talking to my friends that I was traveling with at the time. We manifested it, and I ended up connecting, and it's gonna be hard to top for one throw. It's gonna be a hard one to top.
Stretch! Get in! Stretch! Get in! Stretch!
It's unreal. Can't believe it. And I got it with my brand new Tour Series disc that just came out of the mold 2 weeks ago. The Matt Bell Synapse, so that's even more special too. Yeah, can't believe it went in. Disc golf community is a pretty amazing place. I mean, it's, it can be difficult to find friends in the real world, and that's something you can do from day one in disc golf. You know, you show up to a course, and I feel like it's one of the most inviting places you can be. I don't know how much I separate my free time from my work while I'm on tour. You know, 7 months out of the year, it's disc golf all the time. You know, there's not a lot of downtime when you're touring full time. You pretty much have 1 day a week maybe that you can have a day off, but it's usually a couple days of travel to the next place, and then you only have 2 or 3 days to prepare for an event. So to take time off when you're on tour is a hard thing to do, and it can take away from, you know, playing well. You kind of got to stay in the groove and stay in the rhythm the whole time. That being said, if it's ever overwhelming, you know, or you feel like you're getting burnt out, you know, just a couple days off here and there can really rejuvenate the mind and the body and the spirit. So I'll do that sometimes, but usually I save that for the off season. I'll take 2 or 3 months off of playing competitively, and from there I'll just play casually every day with less pressure. And that's my free time, is playing outside of the stresses of tournaments. For the last 10 years or so, it's been Mo Norman. He is probably someone most people haven't heard of. He was possibly the greatest golfer to have ever lived. He grew up in Canada and was invited to the Augusta Masters when he was 17 years old. And he went and played the Masters, and he was a bit of a eccentric character. And back in the early days of golf, if you didn't fit the cookie cutter mold, you weren't necessarily made to feel comfortable in that environment. So he was basically told not to come back to play on tour in the US. So he didn't. He stayed in Canada, and he has over 40 course records to his name, over 50 hole-in-ones. He's been the amateur champion up there twice, and he's a bit of a savant when it comes to the game of golf and the mental game. So I've learned everything as far as the mental game goes from Mo, and all credit goes to him for that. I would definitely love to do fishing tournaments. That's something I'm really passionate about. I've fished my whole life. It's something I really love to do outside of disc golf, and I think bass fishing would be really fun to do tournaments, and you get to travel all over the country and go to beautiful places just like I do in disc golf. It'd be spending time on the water instead of the woods, which I wouldn't mind at all. And Nate Perkins actually and I have threatened to join a bass fishing tournament together, because he actually won the first bass tournament ever for the University of Texas when he was attending there. So he actually has the experience. He knows what he's doing there. So this is it, Nate. I'm calling you out again. We got to do it. I can do a lot of things outside disc golf. I have done a lot of things outside disc golf. I don't know if any of them are quite special enough to be recorded on camera, except for maybe in 2016-17 winter, California experienced a record snowpack, and I happened to be playing a tournament in the springtime when the snow was melting up in a very isolated part of Northern California. 8 college students hiking. They were on an 8-day backpacking trip, and all of them were green except for one, so they'd never been hiking before. Because of the snowpack that was out there, they weren't able to finish the route they intended. They ended up getting stuck on this river for almost 2 days before they were found, and there was no one out there to rescue them. So I ended up performing like a real deal swiftwater rescue with an inflatable kayak, which was pretty dangerous, and it probably would have taken 2 full swiftwater rescue teams plus a helicopter to get these guys across, and they would have been out there for another couple days. So I ended up getting them all across this river in about an hour, and it was pretty critical stuff. If I had made one mistake, you know, it was a good chance of somebody dying. So it was a pretty crazy experience, and it took all of my knowledge of rivers. You know, I grew up on rivers, so I was pretty familiar with them, and with my surfing background, I was a strong enough paddler to be able to handle the kayak in that kind of condition. That was pretty crazy, probably something I won't be able to repeat in my lifetime. And there was actually someone there in the town who used to do swiftwater rescue for a living, and he wouldn't even go down to the river with me because he knew, you know, we didn't have the right equipment and how dangerous it was. So that's just kind of a testament to the conditions of the river that day. When you have someone who is a certified swiftwater rescue person and he doesn't even want to go down there. So that was a pretty crazy experience and took some special skills to accomplish. So. I'm more of adjusting my technique. I like to manipulate the disc more than allowing the disc to do what it wants. I like to flex it a lot to help control it. So I can generally throw most discs to the same spot regardless of its stability and be able to create the same line with it regardless of its stability. I feel like for myself that helps me be more consistent when it comes to shot shaping. Regardless of the disc I've chose, it should land in generally the same area, but you know, as long as I'm picking the right disc, it's gonna turn out better than it would if I didn't pick the right stability. But even if I get the choice wrong, generally I'm still able to score well because of forcing the disc to get to where it needs to be. I would say it's harder because there's so many choices out there. There's so many good discs. Thankfully, every disc I've tried from Thought Space is amazing and has made the bag, so there's really not a lot of slots that I have left to fill. But finding those right flippy distance drivers that do what you want on those late turns can be a difficult thing to do. Usually it takes seasoning one yourself, but there's plenty of disc golfers out there now with a lot of discs they don't throw anymore because they're too flippy. So I just borrow those from them and I'm good to go. There's always people looking to push the mold of what is possible, and hopefully we'll see some more unique discs come out, but I don't know how crazy the PDGA is going to let people go when it comes to designing discs. They've had to ban multiple designs over the years because they're a little either outlandish or too good, so we'll see. Time will tell.
So fresh, so new. Freedom! It's all for you. All for you.